If it's an emerging technology, a new type of company, how do you penetrate the market to get things done? One thing I try to do to shortcut any capital raise is see who's made money in a very similar niche or related niche. So if it's a health tech device, then I would look to raise capital from people that made their money in healthcare, sold their healthcare company, or a doctor or a surgeon, and you don't have to teach them why that device would be amazing. So they're already up that learning curve. They just need to trust you and then what your actual device does. So that's one shortcut, is to go to people you already know or people that already know the industry. But in terms of how to build authority and influence in a new niche, what I found is that most people do not want to be an authority. They don't think they're natural at public speaking. The first time I spoke publicly, I couldn't even eat that morning. I'm not naturally a good writer, and I've published 13 books. And so a lot of people don't want to do that though. And so if there are 100 people competing in a niche that's new and emergent like that, what percentage of them is going to take the time to go on 20 different podcasts and then ask the person hosting the podcast to title the podcast with 4 to 7 keywords that are long tail keyword strings for your niche. Customize your LinkedIn profile. They can rank on Google for that exact niche, and you can customize the URL of your name or the title on how you describe yourself on LinkedIn. And then I have people get my mobile number and they can text me right from my one-liner on my LinkedIn profile. And then also YouTube, have your own YouTube channel, start a LinkedIn newsletter, share insights on the industry once a week, like Gitomer says, on a free LinkedIn newsletter. And LinkedIn wants their newsletters to be very popular, so they push their newsletter content in the feed above other content within LinkedIn organically. You can also look to, when things rank, it's either on Reddit or other places, and one thing that we've done is just look to be in a lot of different places. So whether it's on Amazon or Audible, social media, etc., and then we're taking content, a piece of value, and then putting it out there in different formats, etc. So that's been really helpful to us. The other thing is that if you figure out who are the power brokers in a niche, and it could just be that you have a manufacturing technology, but there's a manufacturing business owners association that costs $10,000 or $25,000 a year to join. Figuring out how do you get exposure to them, what podcasts do they listen to, what events do they go to, what's the big national event for manufacturing companies to find those investors. And then if you can penetrate and get in with those power brokers, then they can help you. So we have some cases where we have a platform that has 138,000 investors in it as a friend of ours, and they promote Family Office Club to their 138,000 investors, and it helps us get new investors to all of our events. That's an example of a power broker. CPAs in many states can legally get paid for referring investors to you. Same with lawyers. Some CPAs and lawyers just don't want to do that. But figuring out power brokers that could open the door to a lot of the investor demographic. And then just local investor pods would be another thing for anybody, including a new technology, is just kind of if it's a AI tech for law firms or something, would law firm partners be a good prospect, or is it people that have a risk appetite because they made their money in venture capital in Silicon Valley or crypto or something else, so they're looking for the next big thing, which might be vertical agentic AI use cases or something. So those would be some of the ideas I would think through. But looking at what is everyone else doing in the niche, and then make sure if anyone's doing a really great job, you take a version of that and make it your own and meet them at that level or beat them. And then what are people doing in all other industries and doing the best job, and then doing that. So if anyone wants to meet you at that depth of a level, you're both going to do great probably, because no one else will want to do all those things long term. That's what's worked for us at least.
If you are a founder, raising capital, developing real estate, or you're an investor, would love for you to get involved in the Family Office Club. I've run this community for 18 years now. We've hosted 300 live events. We have 17 million social media group members and followers. We have the #1 YouTube channel on family offices. We have the #1 most popular podcast on family offices. You can learn more about us and our membership options at familyoffices.com. We have 30 in-person events planned in 2026 and another dozen events this year. Please go to familyoffices.com to learn more.